what I can do. You know, my only solution is to get rid of Uriah. Or, no, I know what I can do. If I can get Uriah to come down here, and then he'll spend the night with Bathsheba, and then everybody will think it's his baby. That's it. When Uriah arrives, David takes him to the palace. The throne people lining the courtroom, hundreds and hundreds of them. Those who are coming to ask, those who are coming to tell, those who are serving the king, those who are just hoping for lunch. They're all there. And Uriah shows up. Now, Uriah, being a brilliant soldier, does not come as a perfectly dressed in his new tunic. He comes like a man who's come from battle. He dismounts. He is not a general. He is a leader. We don't know his rank. They salute. He comes in before the king, pulls his sandals, because you don't wear sandals in the presence of the king, comes to the king, bows, and David asks, how's the battle going? And Uriah takes his paper and sketches the war. We're doing this, they're doing that. We have a group that's over here now actually in the trees. We have made a fort, a redoubt over here. And behind the city, we've actually got it to where all the cisterns are ours now. There is no water coming into the city. We have a maximum, we figure, of X number of days before they will dry out, and then we're going to be able to get into the city really easily. It looks like we have just a couple of weeks, and then we're going to need you to come and march through the gate with us. And David says, awesome. High fives to Uriah. And in public, thank you for coming. You're an awesome guy, Uriah. You have been with me ever since the beginning. I'm honored to have you as one of my soldiers. Now go home, take a bath. It'd be a good idea. And, spend the night with your wife. This is a wonderful time because you brought such good news. And everybody cheers as Uriah the Hittite, a captain of David's army, marches out the front door to go home to rest with permission from the king. You think there's anybody in the room who doesn't know what's going on? Yeah. One guy. Remember who that is? The king. The king. The king thinks he's pulling a fast one. What do the guards know? They know the day, the time that she went upstairs, what time she came downstairs, and when the note came. They know exactly what the note said. What do you think? They're dumb? Everybody in town knows because it's been on the cover of the National Enquirer. Everybody talks about it, but nobody talks about it in David's presence. Nobody. They're letting him do his sin on his own. Watching to see what God's man is really like. You cannot keep this thing silent, folks. Guys, I have met so many men who thought they could do stuff that nobody would know about. People always know. Ask politicians. So where have you been? Hiking the Appalachian Trail in Argentina. And how stupid can they be? Go to Argentina and use government jets. I was on the Appalachian Trail. I mean, how stupid can sinners be? And male sinners are stupider. There seems to be lack of serotonin in our heads. Maybe it's because the wind of the Spirit is not flowing clearly into our minds. We are distracted by other things that are more interesting to us. And David goes upstairs, stands at the edge, drinking his drink, and watching Uriah's house, thinking, Well, that's over. Man, I'm smart. Next morning, David sends for Uriah in his big throne. Go get Uriah the Hittite for me, please. I've got to send a note back to Joab. And in a moment, two of the guards come in. Sir, Uriah the Hittite for you, sir. He's clean. He's got a new uniform. He's got fresh sandals. Takes them off. Comes up. How was your night there, Uriah? Man, I'm glad you're part of my army. Oh, sir, I went outside and I got talking to the guys and I just ended up sleeping right there with all my guard friends. He did what? What, are you crazy, man? I got you here and I gave you permission and you slept with the guys? What's wrong with you? And he said, well, sir, do you know what's happening in Rabbah? Do you realize what's going on up there? Why, Joab the general isn't even sleeping in a fancy tent. And all of my guys, the ones who answer to me, they are on the ground. We hardly even have a towel to lie on anymore. Nah, man, I cannot live like a king. Well, my guys are living like soldiers of the king. Oh, Uriah, you are so awesome. Thank you. Look, why don't you just take another day, go home, and let's talk in the morning. I got a message I need to send back with you to Joab. Thank you, sir. And he marches out. And you can hear the conversations on the streets of Jerusalem. They're pretty clear. Wow. What's David going to do now? Hey, king's in trouble. Uriah didn't go home. So what's he going to say? Boy, baby looks like Uriah. Do you hear the conversations around town? Next morning he comes in. It's morning. Uriah once more has slept in the guardhouse. Hadn't been home. That next morning, David gives Uriah so much Dos Equis that Uriah can't walk out on his own. David gives him to his boys, the guards, the special forces soldiers who guard the gates, and says, take him home, let him sleep it off. And David walks back in, and the guards, with Uriah out in their arms, take him to the guardhouse and lay him down, just like he had told them to do. You think Uriah knew what was going on? Of course he did. And I'd like to suggest to you this evening that Uriah the Hittite is one of God's heroes. Amen. This is a man who chose to stay true to his vows even when death was the obvious result.